Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at and testing the new diesel heaters available from maXpeedingroods. They have quite a few upgraded features, including Bluetooth connectivity, so you can actually control these heaters using your mobile phone. Now I'd like to start off by saying thank you to maXpeedingroods for sending me these two heaters so that I can make these videos for you. I'd also like to point out that I'm not getting paid to make this video, although maXpeedingroods did send me these heaters for free of charge so that I can make this video review. Now whilst this video is not an instructional video, I'm not going to show you how to install these heaters in this video, but I would like to give you a word of caution regarding these standalone units. Not so much this unit, so I'm going to put this to one side, flip this over and show you something that you just need to bear in mind when fitting one of these standalone units. Now on the underside you have an air inlet and an exhaust outlet, and for this reason you need to drill one hole in the floor of your van. Here's the hole in the floor of my van that I drilled when I installed my 5 kilowatt unit. Now there is a slight risk of the exhaust leaking from this unit because of the way that the exhaust pipe is joined. It is simply a piece of corrugated pipe. This is the new upgraded pipe, by the way. Not quite a fan of this. I don't think this is as good as the original exhaust pipes because it is just corrugated all the way to the end. And as you can see, it's simply been cut off. They've made a slot in it so that when you put a Jubilee clip on it, it can clamp down over the exhaust outlet. So when installing one of these units, I highly recommend using some kind of exhaust joining paste like you would when fitting an exhaust to your car. I would most definitely smudge some exhaust paste around this and put some inside the inside wall of this pipe as well, and then slide it over. And don't just put one Jubilee clip on here, put two Jubilee clips on facing opposite directions and tighten them up as tight as you possibly can, that way ensuring that this doesn't leak. I would highly recommend fitting a carbon monoxide detector close to this unit as well, just in case that exhaust does leak, because the last thing you want is your van filling up with diesel exhaust fumes, which can be highly toxic, as we all know. So without further ado, I'm going to now install this into my van and quickly run through all the new hardware and all the new features of these two units. Now I know I said this wasn't an instructional video, but here are the two Jubilee clips fixed on the bottom of here, and you will need a flexible driver to do these Jubilee clips up with a 7mm socket on the end. There's no way you can do these up using a normal screwdriver, so this is probably the only special tool you're going to need if you do buy one of these standalone units. Now I haven't put any exhaust compound on here because this is just a temporary install. I'm only going to install this unit into my van purely to make this video. Once I've made this video, this unit will be going back in its box. So there you go, it really is as simple as that to install one of these self-contained units. All I need to do now is connect up the 12-volt supply, add some diesel, and we should be good to go. Now ordinarily, if you were going to fit one of these permanently, you would screw this down and also use the air intake filter and the filter pipe. And I've got to say, this air intake filter has been upgraded as well. You can see inside there's actually a proper filter in this, whereas previous models didn't have a filter actually inside. Now also, for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be using the silencer on the end of my exhaust pipe. So let's connect it up to 12-volt supply, add some diesel and see what happens. So there's the fuel added. Now the 12-volt supply, the positive and negative, is connected up here. So all we need to do now is power it up. Now one thing I will point out is I'm not too happy about this fuel tank. It doesn't seem to be very secure in there. It kind of rattles around a bit, so yeah, maybe maXpeedingroods can sort that out later on. I do like these handles though. What purpose they serve, I'm not so sure. Now before we do go any further, for those of you that aren't aware what's actually inside here, I shall quickly show you. So basically inside this all-in-one unit, at the bottom here, you will find there is a diesel heater in the bottom, and above the diesel heater there's our fuel tank. And here's the fuel tank that comes with the installation kit. As you can see, another upgrade is this nipple underneath. The old fuel tanks didn't have this, so that's a win. Also inside there we have our fuel filter and our fuel pump as well. So all these components are basically inside this one standalone unit, and that's the benefit of having one of these. You don't have to do any plumbing yourself. All the wiring loom, everything is encapsulated inside this unit. The only downside is, of course, that you do have the fuel tank here, whereas with the standalone unit you can actually plumb into the van's main fuel tank using the standpipe, which also comes in the kit. Okay, so let's clear all this out of the way, switch this on and see what happens. Well, it didn't take long for it to kick in, and you can hear the pump is quite quiet. We'll show you the pump later on, because the pump is actually a lot different to the original ones. Let's just take a look at this functionality. Oh, there you go. There's the temperature, which is quite nice. It turns it up in increments. You can hear the fan speeding up as I turn the temperature up. So that's pretty much it. That's all you can really control with the remote, which I guess is all you need to turn it off. Simply press the off button and it turns off. Now I've downloaded the app onto my phone. The app is actually called Parking Electric for some strange reason. Now here's a problem I've had. When I open up the app it says add device. Click on add device, parking heater, and then it tells you to unplug the device for 10 seconds and then press the reset button. So I've done this. I've simply pulled the fuse out, waited for 10 seconds, plugged the fuse back in again, but here's the problem. There is no reset button, so I don't know what button they mean to press. So I've tried pressing the on off button for 5 seconds, I've tried pressing the OK button for 5 seconds, and there's a button on the end here which is like a cog, and I've tried pressing that for seconds. The up and down buttons as well, I've pressed those, but nothing happens. There's no flashing Bluetooth symbol. And if I try and carry on the app, you see there it says hold the reset button for 5 seconds. Next. Confirm the indicator is blinking rapidly. There is no indicator blinking rapidly. But anyway, I've pressed confirm, press next, and it says make sure your Bluetooth is switched on your phone. And I can assure you my Bluetooth is actually switched on my phone. If I swipe down you can see Bluetooth is enabled. But for the life of me I can't seem to get the Bluetooth to switch on the actual unit. So I thought to myself I will try switching the unit on using the remote. Switch it on. Even when it's switched on, I'll just show you the screen now, what it looks like. So there you go, there's the screen. There's the Bluetooth symbol up in the top corner there. But like I say, my phone isn't picking it up. You see my phone, it keeps saying make sure your Bluetooth is switched on. So as far as pairing it up with Bluetooth is concerned, it's a mystery to me. I think I'm going to have to see if anyone on YouTube has made a video on how to pair one of these up. Be right back. Wish me luck. It's doing my nutting, this is. Let me just turn it off. Well, I've gone over and over the instructions in the booklet. I followed the instructions on the app to the letter time and time again, and still I cannot seem to connect this unit up to Bluetooth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out and connect up this one and see if I have better luck using this unit. I'm not going to connect diesel to this, I'm simply going to wire it all up, connect up all the components and see if I can now connect Bluetooth to this one, just to make sure that it's not me doing something wrong. These plugs are quite interesting. They're a bit like the old Vauxhall ones and BMW plugs. You have to pull this out like this, so that pulls out like that. Then you plug it in and slide this in. They're only going one way, I'd imagine. There you go. So that clicks in there like that. The controller, it's a little 3-pin round plug, quite simple to connect up. Now before I connect the fuel pump up, I just want to show you this, because a lot of people get this wrong with these clips. You see how they work. You don't pull this off. When you want to release them, you simply push it in and you see that action where it releases. I've seen quite a few people actually pull this pin off. You don't need to. There you go, that's how they work. And it's a good idea to push this down when you plug it in, because I've also known these to actually snap off of the pump. So push that down, plug it in like that. It just makes it a little bit easier to plug in. So that's basically it. It's now wired up. All I've got to do is replace the fuse and it should switch on. Yep, the controller is lit up exactly the same as the other one. Now I'm going to hold down the on off button for 5 seconds. Still no Bluetooth pairing flashing up. Searching for nearby devices. Make sure your device has entered pairing mode. This is the problem. How do you get your device to enter pairing mode? There is no reset button. So there you go. It appears to be a bit of a mystery on how you actually turn the Bluetooth pairing operation on. I will send maXpeedingroods a message and ask them to clarify how this actually works. And if I do manage to solve this mystery, I will let you know in next week's Waffle on a Wednesday. Now, let's put that aside. Let's take a look at the main differences between the new unit and the old unit, because there are quite a few significant upgrades. So let's take a little look at some of the upgraded components that come with the diesel heater that you install yourself. Apart from the actual physical appearance of the case itself, it is very, very different. I think later on I'm going to take this apart and see what the difference is on the inside, but we'll do that later. So here's the standard fuel pump that comes with most diesel heaters, and this is the one that came with this diesel heater. It looks very similar to the silent pump, and just listening to the all-in-one diesel heater that we just started up, I can tell straight away that the pump is definitely a lot quieter than the old pump. So that's its first win, is the upgraded fuel pump. Now, talking about fuel, the fuel filter is definitely a big upgrade. Look at the size of this filter. It's even got a water trap in it, so if any water is in the diesel, you can actually catch that and empty it. Compare this to the old style filter. You can see there is a huge difference. This one looks far superior, and it's also got a direction of flow indicator on it, whereas this one doesn't have. And I've seen a lot of videos of people installing these diesel heaters and putting this filter the wrong way round. I won't mention any names. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the air filter is a lot different as well. It's got a foam insert inside here, whereas the old air filters were just an empty case. And the remote control is a lot different as well. Here's my remote. I do actually prefer this bigger one, but it doesn't make up for the fact that I couldn't get the Bluetooth to work. Now, another big difference, like I mentioned earlier, is actually the exhaust. This is an original exhaust. This is what they used to look like. It's not very flexible, whereas the new type of exhaust is extremely flexible. The only thing I don't like is the ends. They are just cut, and like I showed you earlier on, they've got a groove in them and they're very sharp, and when they pack these, they've put tape around them, obviously protect you from when you get it out of the box, I think. But I do prefer the old style exhaust pipe. But saying that, they do include some exhaust wrap with the new kit as well, which is a really nice feature because this stuff ain't cheap. And yeah, so you can actually wrap the exhaust with this exhaust wrap. Not that I've ever felt the need to use it. Now, another big difference is the air conduit. Usually these are black, like this one. This is my original from my 2 kilowatt heater. This is what I've seen in the past, but now they've switched to this, well, it's a different type. Not sure I like this one. It's still got the silver lining on the inside, cardboard on the outside. Can't seem to stretch it as well as you can this stuff. This stuff is really stretchable. Stretchable, is that a word? The wiring looms are a lot different as well. They've got this nice protective layer over them, and the plugs are a lot different as well, significantly improved over the old ones. Now the little bag of hardware is pretty much the same. You've got the same nuts and bolts, the same not so good Jubilee clips. I would never use the original Jubilee clips out of these kits. I would always go and buy better Jubilee clips. Just something about these I don't really like. Silencers are exactly the same. Now there is one thing I've not seen in any of these kits, and that's a little tool kit. It actually comes with a glow plug removing tool, and I've not seen that before. I've not seen these heaters being supplied with a glow plug removal tool. So again, a nice little add-on that is. And in my box there was even a nice little pair of rubber gloves. Maybe that's for when you put diesel in it. But again, doesn't make up for the fact that I couldn't get the Bluetooth function to work. Now if any of you out there do know how to get the Bluetooth functionality on this new unit to work and how to pair it with your mobile phone, then please do let me know by leaving a comment in the comments section of this video. And if you are interested in buying one of these heaters, I will leave links in the description of this video for your convenience. I will also put down a discount code so that you can save yourself a little bit of money. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you found it informative, slightly entertaining, then please do give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra for now. Things I do to make these videos, honestly.